Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay our respect to our teacher, Pinnath Loku Swamin Wahanse also. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Before we start the program meditation, so can you all remember the teaching which we just started to learn from the yesterday, last week? We started to learn from 4 foundation of mindfulness practices. We covered the mindfulness on our body, and then we started to learn about the mindfulness on our feelings. Can you remember? So in there we learned a special sutta which says that how the practitioner and a non-practitioner experience same feeling in different way. As an example, Buddha gave example like if someone hit from an arrow, the second arrow also comes and hit in the same place. Likewise, if someone experience a feeling, they will suffer from that, the mental pain also. Like when they experience a physical pain, then they will go through the mental pain also. Why? They do not understand the impermanence of the feelings. So likewise, they are suffering and they are suffering a lot. So when they are suffering a lot, the only choice they have is going with the sensual pleasures. So, but the thing is, sensual pleasures is like a dream actually. We create stories, try to be happy, but the thing is, we never feel the satisfaction out there, and again we lead to the suffering. So that's the usual way of a human being. So going with the sensual expectations and the sensual pleasures, I will be happy when I see this, I will be happy when I go there, I will be happy when I listen to this, I will be happy when I feel the smell, I will be happy when I eat this food, I will be happy when I experience this tangible. Likewise, trying to be happy from the sensual pleasures, but actually happening is, even though they feel that sensual pleasure means kind of a thing which we create in our mind and try to be happy from that. So always in the fulfillment, not in the part of that, the mind stories. So again, going to the sufferings. If we break down to understand it like for like experiences, it's like in the real life stories, think that the throughout our life, what we have done is trying to fulfill our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and also the thinking on that and the mind actually. So do you feel like, okay, I have seen enough things in my life and this eye doesn't want to see something special other than this? No, actually it's not happening like that. Instead of that, uh, our eyes will say, hey, there is a new movie, and if someone say that there is a new movie or something special, you should go and watch it, then our mind still start to uh, go for it and try to be satisfied from that. But actually what's happening is that the happiness is not arising. Fulfillment is not coming. You will see that, but still you don't feel the fulfillment. at the same time. So if there is something, so if someone say like, if you listen to a music, or someone say like, hey, if you should listen to this, and you will feel a kind of like amazing happiness by going like listening to this, and then our mind will say, hey, let's go and listen to it. Likewise, always our mind try to be happy from seeing things, listening and things, but the fulfillment is not there. So that's why I said that our I never say that I'm satisfied with seeing things, and I don't want to see anything special uh, again. So likewise, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind, they are not fulfilling, that satisfying, that content is not there. Why? It should happen by understanding. So that's what we are going to practice by practicing the mindfulness on the feelings. So that we know that in this case, we know that feelings are just feelings. Those are rising and falling. Those are rising due to the contact or due to the reason. And when the contact is not no longer there, that the feelings are falling apart. So, and it's not me or mine or myself, just rising and falling. Sometimes I feel like that our lives is like the chat GPT has its own GPTs, like we can create the GPTs, like the way to think. When we have data, then we can create a way to think, like you should start in reasoning in this way. So likewise, we all used to think in certain thought patterns. We wish that the happiness and the fulfillment should comes from there, but actually it's not what happening. The way we see the world, then we see the world likewise, and we want to achieve goals, but once we achieve, the fulfillment is not rising. So, but what happens when you understand feelings are just feelings? That story won't create in you. You just see this is a feeling. This feeling wasn't there. Now it's here, and it's for once it fall apart, that feeling is no longer there. So then you are just seeing the end of that story in the same place, and then it doesn't create a new story. That's the end of the suffering. Actually, why? The sufferings comes with the ego, then there is no way to create ego. So you see the rising and falling, and you do not represent something no longer existing. You know that's all rising and falling, and you do not want to achieve something by thinking the gratification, by thinking the way of that thought pattern. So before we dive into the sutta, so today it's a very small thing, but we are learning, but it's not small when it comes to the understanding. I just want to know that whether you feel this understanding, or should I need to describe it, or I mean, describe it more. So it's better to have a kind of a brainstorming discussion. So in that way, we can understand this. So for this, I need you all to join with me when you can share. So first of all, there is nothing wrong, and there's nothing like, I mean, nothing wrong means that every question is okay, and what you are saying is, don't think like, oh, if I say this, is it what Bante is asking? No, it's not like that. Just express how you feel, and then we can correct from there. So as an example, what we have to understand is, we have to understand that feelings has its nature. What is the nature? Feelings arising and falling. Arising and falling. So that's the nature of the condition thing. Uppado panyayatyo, we can see it's rising. Vayo panyayati, we can see it's falling. Tita sanya tattam panyayati, while it's being until it's falling, in there also impermanence we can see. So likewise, so rising, falling, until that we see the impermanence of that. So due to the ignorance, there are people, like almost everyone, without seeing this, they try to identify this feeling as me, mine, or myself. Then what happens? They try to, based on that feelings, they create stories. They try to achieve the goals in that stories. But there is another group who has the wisdom. When a feeling arises, they see that feeling arising, and then it change and fall apart. And then falling means it's forever. It's ending forever. And if the new feeling is a new feeling, due to the ignorance, it's happening, and this is not someone like take the control by like, hey, I will change this, but it just from this moment onwards, there is no way of taking control without the practice in the Eightfold Path. Think that you experience some unpleasant experience. Think that, okay, let's go with the common experience. Someone just starting to criticize you. Someone just criticize you. Think that someone saying behind your back. Then when you hear that, it's just a sound, right? Due to the ear, due to the sound, the consciousness arises. Those three we say contact. Due to that contact, there is an unpleasant feeling. But that feeling also there due to the contact. When contact falls, that feeling just vanish. So, but since we have not practiced the impermanence, what will happen? Even it fall apart, that pain, when that pain arises, we want to change that pain to happiness. Instead of going through the pain, understanding it's here, but it's impermanence. Instead of going through the pain without identifying you in that pain, what we gonna do is we want to change that pain to happiness. So then what happened? Due to the ignorance, that energy arises, anger, or maybe fear, or whatever the defilement which can arises. Then what will happen? That feeling arises. Then due to that feeling, because of the that energy, create a story like now you don't hear anything someone's criticizing you, but that memory in your head, and it's giving the fuel for giving the gas. He said this to me, he criticized me, he said behind my back, he defeated me. Likewise, those things arising, and it creates a story. In that story, you have an enemy, you have to do something to that enemy, and you have to maintain, or you have to protect your personality. That's a story. So that's the usual way our mind doing. But once you understand that feelings are rising and falling, then you just, even though you want to be angry, your mind does not have the support to be angry. Angry on what? Why? You see that it's rising and falling. Like you see the feelings like clouds. So one cloud, no clouds are staying for long, like for forever. It's feeling is there, like clouds, those are passing. So when you try to remember that incident, you don't feel that feeling in this moment. Why? In this moment, you are totally being present. The one who does not have this knowledge, when they try to think about that story, what has happened, that memory comes with the existing past, painful past, and it's that support to do something for the benefit of the future. So that's the difference. So it sounds like so easy, but until we get that realization and understanding, always that pain will sustain due to the ignorance. Happiness also the same. Think that for some reason you experience a happiness. Think that You went to a restaurant and you had the delicious food, and then what will happen? That food, that experience keep popping in you and saying, rising and, hey, shall we? Like ice. But if you see the rising and falling, then that's all. You are here and now. If you if you got a chance to go and have it, it's good. But if you don't get a chance, that's also same good. Nothing special. That's how the understanding, feeling as feelings, create the wisdom in you. Okay. Now I would like to ask from you, can you bring a story by yourself about that understanding the feeling and how it should lead without the understanding, we say the ignorance or the delusion, how it goes.
Yeah, Bhante. So, with the wisdom of like the feeling rising and falling, we know that. So, should we wait for the feeling to fall, or should be there in that moment and kind of know that it's impermanent, but I still enjoy this moment and let it pass, and then I will not be worried. Should we wait for like okay, feeling is there, I will wait for it to go, or should we just be there and be with the moment?
Be with the moment, and there is no authority over the feelings. So what we can do is just experience feeling as feelings.
Yeah, just be, whether it is a sad moment, a sad feeling, or good feeling, just be with the moment. Don't try to change it. And
Yeah, so
automatically,
if it lead to that defilements, then you should change the place. Also think that you feel pain and anger, and then you know that your mindfulness is not good enough to deal with this with that. Then you are not ready to practice mindfulness on feelings. Change the place until your mind gets settled. In the same way, if you feel like the lust generating and it's like breaking precept, or it's like creating a danger, then change the place with the and that means our wisdom is not getting the enough concentration for to work in that place. So at that place we have to use the other factors like the confidence towards Buddha, or the Shraddha, or the other qualities. So that should be the answer for that.
yeah. So, like, just wanted to share my experience. Like, after attending your sessions and attending like one day meditation. So, recently I had some kind of disappointment. Then, because of the constant attending and listening to you, I was able to come out that feeling like much more rapidly. I don't really have any regrets or anything. Like, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I also recently got your suggestion, like the questions of Melinda, and I started reading it. It's very interesting book. Thank you for suggesting it.
Yeah, appreciate. Yes, and yeah, that's true. So when even our lives, even when we think about how and the anger or whatever those defilements are not getting that energy to run as it used to be, it's the that it's not the way we wish. Then you will realize one day, if you want to be angry, still you can be angry. So it's like now the problem is like. Oh, I can go overcome from anger. But there will be a day like, if you wish to be angry, you can be angry. Why? This anger is not the way is there because you wish. It's there because of a reason. Once you do not give the reason for that, and anger can sustain. Even the other defilements also the same.
Thank you, Bante.
Yeah. Are there anyone else would have like a story like how in your idea try to get understanding and try to be insightful?
I heard this little story over the weekend, and I think it's relevant to what we're discussing. So the new student or practitioner said to his teacher, "What does the Buddha do when he is hot?" And the answer was, "The Buddha just sweats." And the student asks the teacher, "What does the Buddha do when he's cold?" And the teacher says, "The Buddha just shivers." And the student says to the teacher, "But those are the same things I do." And the teacher tells the student, "It's in the just." So the Buddha's not creating the stories and the worries and the what ifs and I'm going to get frostbite or I'm going to get dehydrated or all the things that I think most of us create these worries and exaggerations because we're not staying in the present moment. And it's referring to the stories and the narratives that I think you're talking about. So I hadn't heard that before, and I thought it was very cute and concise that it's in the just.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, comment. So, there is something special which we can take from that story, that for one thing is we can decide from the outer expressions how that person is. We can judge the first thing, and then the second thing, that when a feeling arises, we see that feeling as feeling. Feeling as feeling means we know that the nature of the feelings are true. It's not a false, but it's arising. It wasn't here a moment ago. Now it's here, and definitely it won't be in the next moment. So, like when we have that understanding, we do not worry or manipulate our mind with that. We just see and being here and now with the understanding. When we have that knowledge, we can go to we have to break that sensual feelings and the spiritual feelings. So the translation, we will discuss what is that Niramisa and Amisa, what in Pali word, and then we can go through it.
Now, Bhante, we have learned now contemplation of the body and then contemplation of the feeling. For me, Bhante, in my daily life, I like to do the sampajanya, the one contemplation of the body, but at the same time, I also like to contemplate on the feeling. Can Bhante advise, do I do the contemplation of the body first and make sure that I'm steady in that, established in that first before I go to contemplation of the feeling, Bhante?
Yeah, so if you are doing something else, definitely practicing sampajana is the most essential thing. If you can remember, Linda, when Buddha going to the parinibbana, that in his last days, Buddha consistently advised monks to practice sampajana and practice for foundation of the mindfulness. So Buddha extracted, like taken off the sampajana from that Satipaṭṭhāna, or the 4 foundations, and ask us to consistently practice it, and then the Satipaṭṭhāna. So that in the Satipaṭṭhāna, in the 4 foundation mindfulness, we have the feeling, being mindful on the feelings. Once your mind is settled, and because to practice on what you feel in the feelings, you have to, I believe that we have to find a quiet or like a place, or without doing something else. Why I'm saying that, when we see the rising and the falling of the feelings, there is nothing to do on that. So think that you are eating and you feel like okay, that feelings arises, and then sensual pleasure feeling arises, and that rising and falling. So if you are fully being mindful, then you may feel like, okay, I should stop this eating, and I should I should meditate, because you just seen the rising and the falling of the feeling, and there is nothing to continue there. So do the sampajana regularly, and when you get a chance, try to be mindful. And sometimes when think that we don't know that the time we feel the depression, like depression means that the sad feelings, and sometimes we feel like a missing feeling, grieving and anger, all those arises. When those arises, just understand that I feel this unpleasant feeling due to this reason. And that's the reason is what we are going to learn in the next session. It says like this in the feelings, Katamacha bhikkhave bhikkhu vedanaso vedanano passi viharati. Monks, how does a monk dwell or observing, how someone observing sensations in sensations. So like how someone observes sensations as sensations. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu sukhang vedanam vedyamano sukhang vedanam vedyamiti pajanati. A monk, when they experience the pleasant feeling, understand experiencing pleasant feeling, and unpleasant feeling experience, they understand I'm experiencing unpleasant feeling. Adukkama sukhang va vedana vedyamano adukkama sukhang vedana vedyamiti pajanati. Neither pleasant nor unpleasant feelings arises, understanding that I'm experiencing this. That's what we say, that the neutral. Sāmisangvā sukhang vedanam vedyamano sāmisang sukhang vedanam vedyamiti pajana. Then Buddha advises us to understand whether that feeling samisa or niramisa. Samisa means connected with the sensual pleasures. Niramisa means not connected with the sensual pleasures. So you can simply understand it like this. So think that you are eating a delicious food and it creates the sensual happiness. Then just understand that the sensual happiness is there. You are meditating and you feel the inner peace. That's also happiness. It's not connected with the sensual pleasures. Then understand that this is a non-sensual pleasure. So just understand with that. So that the sensual pleasures always lead to the defilements. Like defilements means think that you are eating a delicious food. You are hungry and you like that food a lot. So that means in there you have the defilement called the raga, lobha, craving, shall we say, that craving for that food. And then what will happen? That is also a defilement. Why we say a defilement? That thought pattern can control you instead of you are controlling that thought pattern. That has energy to navigate you to that ego's expectation. You are like, at that time, mind is the boss, you are the slave. And so then think that while you are eating the delicious food, someone just come and grab it. Then what will happen? Anger rises. So it's also defilement. When you have this, again understand, the mind is the boss, you are the slave or the servant. There is a saying, Buddha saying, of this world like not complete, that fulfilling, uno loco atito tanhadaso. We are slaves or servants to our own ego. Anger rises. Think that someone always getting what they want, then they feel that I am superior. It's also that defilement arises. Likewise, different defilement can arise. You are expecting something and someone else getting there. You feel jealousy.
Bhante, just a question about what you said. So let's say, using your example, I'm enjoying food, and let's say my dog comes and grabs it and eats it. And I get angry. Is the defilement that I enjoyed the food so much that I got angry, or is the defilement that getting angry?
The defilement means that not what you are doing, the defilement means that the energy which lead to something. So as an example, when you eat something, you feel that feeling of that due to the delicious food, you feel that like the taste. That taste is connected with the, we call that, there are we have to understand two things. One is kama guna and the second one is the kama. Kama guna means like the kama means the sensuality, shall we say, like that arises due to that quality. So that kama guna means which is existing in this world, which means there are beautiful sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and then the tangibles. We say that, yeah, let me bring the Pali word. Itta kanta manapa rajaniya kamopasangita. That means those are so lovely and pleasurable, and it can create the defilement. So that thing that you are eating a delicious food, that food has that quality to create that the sensual pleasure. It is not the sensual pleasure, it has the quality. So when you eat, it has the quality. Based on that quality, that sensual pleasure is creating as a story in our mind. So that's why Buddha is saying, Nete kamayani chitrani loke, that the sensual pleasure is not in the outer world. Only the qualities are in the outer world. That sensual pleasure is a sankappa rago purisassa kamang. That means, well, sankappa means that the thoughts, that it's a happiness, that pleasure creates the formation of, it creates in our mind due to the thought pattern. So that's why that different people have the different sort of sensual expectations. So when it comes to that, the question, when you eat, that food has that quality to create that sensual pleasure. When it creates, so if you just breaking it without going through that attaching it, you just feel the taste and you enjoy the taste, and when you eat it, that taste is no longer there, you understand, you then your attention with the food again and you are eating, and there is no creating story, but you are enjoying your food with mindfulness. So but if someone attached to that, so it's like, oh, I should eat this, oh, this is the greatest food I would like creating story and attached to that the expectation is to fulfill that mind story. So that to fulfill that, you need the whole food in the dish. So suddenly dog comes and dog grab it. That means your expectation in your story, you have created that story in your mind, that the real reality, what it's at the moment, is not matching with what you're expecting. Then it create a gap. Then that now that craving, that ego, that first started with the lover or the craving, then it turned into the anger. So likewise, different defilements arises.
Well, I was thinking about, I had this experience this week where like the impermanence kind of hit me just made me think a lot more because I was on social media and I was watching this video, and it was kind of like this experiment where they put a fake hand next to somebody who was sitting at a table, and they like tickled the hand and tickled the hand, and then all of a sudden the guy takes a hammer and smashes the hand, and the person thinks it's his hand, and he's like, ow, and he gets angry, and he feels the pain and everything, and then he realizes it's not his hand, and then he starts laughing. And so like there was so many things in that like video that I kind of like things just clicked. Like he was attaching to this arm that he thought that it was his arm, and then when they hit it, it's like his feelings of pain arose, and then they fell really quickly, and his feelings of happiness arose, and then they fell really quickly again. So it was kind of like I saw it like how we attach to these like we attach to our body, you know, and then even when it's not our body and what we think it's our body, we're attaching to it, and all the things that happen to it, like the pain and the laughter of realizing it's not his body, and just
Yeah,
seeing the rising and falling. So it was just like this click that happened to me. It was really nice.
yeah.
Just wanted to
And
share.
the Mike, you can improve that understanding. Okay, the other body also, what we are thinking as me, due to we feel that we get the neuro experience, the triggering neurons, that part, then the other body also not me or mine or myself. It's there due to the reasons, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's the tricky part, right?
Sakang va vedanang vediyamano. You have to understand whether this is samisa or niramisa. Then in a pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neither pleasant or unpleasant feeling, try to understand this is a amisa or niramisa, which means that sensual or non-sensual. What are the non-sensual pleasures? Like the inner peace and happiness when you experience. If you have experienced that inner peace and that inner blissfulness, you can see that you can turn that feeling into a story, like the same story which we think that when you get a pleasant feeling, you can collect different data and create a story. So what will happen when you feel inner blissfulness? That inner blissfulness is not coming because you are creating stories. That comes because your mind is settled. You experience the calmness. Due to that calmness, you feel that. So if you try to turn it to like a story, then what will happen? Your inner peace and happiness will fade away. So when you have the feel the inner blissfulness, still you have to understand this is a that non-sensual blissful feeling, and you have to still understand it's a rising and falling. Why do we need to understand that? If not, your mind will attach to that. What is the danger of attaching to that? The danger, you may already have experienced that when you meditate, you feel one day you feel a super calmness, clarity, and blissfulness. So if your mind attached to that, then the very next day you're meditating, instead of focusing to the anchor point which led you to that experience, you're expecting that feeling. Hey, may it come, may it come. Then what will happen? You end in the meditation with the frustration. You have attached to that. So you have to still see it rising and falling, and you have to still understand that it's not me or mine or myself. So we all know about the sensual unpleasant feeling, sensual based unpleasant feeling. That's which create anger most of the time. What is the non-sensual unpleasant? That the unpleasant feeling which comes, oh, there were Rahans in the world, but I couldn't attain that enlightenment yet. It creates a pain. Sometimes feel like, oh, the same one, last year I had this sort of inner peace and happiness. This year I couldn't attain. That also, that you are not expecting a sensual pleasure. You are expecting that inner peace, but still that create unpleasant feeling. You have to understand it just that feeling as a feeling. Neither pleasant nor unpleasant. A non-sensual feeling is there, that the super neutral feeling. That neutral feeling means that the fourth jhana, or the equanimity or that feeling arises in the fourth jhana. So that also we have to see, it's like rising and falling. So likewise, that being mindful of the feeling means basically understanding feeling as a feeling, which means rising due to contact, being it for some time, and falling. And taking the qualities like, is this related to sensual or non-sensual? And then seeing the rising and falling. So that's the first part. The second part almost same like the mindfulness of the body. That means iti ajjatangva vedanasu vedananu passivirati. Any feeling arise in this side, understanding as feeling. any feeling arises in others, understanding it as a feeling. So what is the benefit of that? Think that someone being angry, you don't judge and frame this person is this person is the anger. You just know that, oh, he feels anger due to the unpleasant feeling, and it's rising and falling. You let someone to be angry even towards you, and you let someone to correct themselves after they calm down instead of judging. You don't judge when they are not angry. You don't judge even they are angry. Nice story about the Arahant Sariputta. While Arahant Sariputta going for the alms begging around, like keeping the bowl in front and going in the morning. If anyone would like to offer something, happily appreciating that. So one person wanted to check whether this monk is claiming no he doesn't have any defilements, whether it's true or pretending. He went behind of the monk and give a punch to the monk, and the Arahant Sariputta fall down. Luckily, nothing happened to the bowl. Monk just walked. Didn't care. He didn't mind who and what. Just walk, and that's all. Why? To him, the feelings are feeling. Now that the person who did that was super upset about what he has done, he wanted to correct himself, came front and apologized, forgiven, and asked, Bhante, I would like to offer you something. Please come to my house. Said, okay. No judgment from what they have done. That whatever the feeling can arise and fall, whatever. So it's not like judging in this side, even the other side. See, if you have a mind, that sort of a freedom, you don't judge you even. Then you don't worry about anything related to you. And you don't judge others. Let them to be as they are, and if they are listening, allowing them to correct themselves by teaching. And that's also because, as I always say, active listening is the blessing what you can have in your life. So if people are ready to listen, then share, and if not, then that's okay. So that's sort of a freedom you should have. So that's what this meditation help us. So in your side, in other side, understanding feelings are feelings. And then samudaya dhammanupassiva vedanasu viharati, vaya dhammanupassiva vedanasu viharati. And seeing these feelings like rising and falling. That's how dealing with the feelings. And then what will happen? Atti vedanasva Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna hoti. You will get great concentration and attention and the clarity on your feelings as feelings. And what it leads, Atti vedanativa Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna hoti yavadeva jnanamattai. That lead you to the understanding. Patisatimattai. It will stable there. Anisitocha viharati. Once it's stable, it won't, your concentration and your clarity won't disturbed. And what is the result? Nachakincha lokya upadhyate. You won't attach to anything. So it's like frameless. And that's what we have to have. That sort of a mind we have to have. If someone can lead to that sort of a mind and stay for 7 days to 7 years with the saying, you will end up with the third stage or the final stage. So that's what the Buddha saying. That's how the clear his teachings are.
Bhante, can Bhante explain again that anisitocha viharati, Bhante? I think it's independent, without independent.
Yes. Let me go with the word.
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, I have the English book. It will take some time. So that means that not mixing with defilements.
Right. We are dwelling independent of defilements. Then.
Yes.
Yes. Bhante, Bhante.
So that's right. So now we have something to practice, right? So this is somewhere we can practice, like when you think that you have so think that you have addicted to your Betty. You can't live without the Betty. Like if you don't get that, you feel upset. Or if you have some sort of a addiction to something, like you would like to watch some sort of a series or something, instead of just trying to correct it, just see the feeling as feeling. When you taste that delicious food, like sipping that tea, sip like you are sipping it to grasp the whole feeling of that. Then what will happen? You are not rejecting. You see the whole context in that. Then you will see that the distance, you can create a distance between what you feel and then the mind story. So we need to create a gap likewise. So you know that people who are going through the diabetes, they know that when they eat carbs and then when a down spike happens, suddenly that the craving comes from the brain. Hey, you may running out of sugar and may eat something. That's what the brain feels like, sudden down spikes. So at that times that the body is ready to eat something. At that time that if we have that the stories in our mind, those that then the brain will say, give you like clues. Hey, ice cream in the refrigerator. Hey, chocolate is in there. Like when it arises, if you can just see that's rising and falling. If not, you will trapped in there and you will go and eat it. So like guys, see the rising and see the falling. And then you see the whole gratification it has. And then you see the gratification, you can see the next one. Every conditioned thing has the gratification, danger, that means rising and falling, that's called the danger, that the adina, that the danger, we can say it that way. And then the nisarana, freedom from that. Freedom from that means your mind is free from that, free from the attachments of that feelings or the perceptions of any sort of a thing. That's why you may find that sometimes you may already have seen that there are some 10 questions in Buddhism, Buddha didn't answer. Why that 10 questions not being answered? Because those 10 questions are not existing in the final result. So that 10 questions create different stories, but not the end. That's why this has the clear end. So that's what the early stage, that means the early Buddhism had more clarity and more, it lead to only one goal, not to be a Buddha or someone, just to end the suffering.
Bhante, I don't know whether, well, I just like to get your advice on this, because this mind story comes so quickly. So how could you, it's like competing two different thoughts, try to think about the feeling as feeling, and then like before you know, like because it comes, the story comes so like it's instantaneously, so it's like a competition between trying to, could you advise on that, like because story before you stop to think, feeling is, this is a sad feeling. And also the second question is, I understand with the first five senses, when it comes to mind, like if I get angry, it may not go away quickly, or maybe I may not see it as going away quickly, or it may be a while and the story has gone a long way by that time. I don't know whether I'm asking the question right or whether...
No, yeah, that's correct. So for the first one is that's the usual way of our mind when we feel a feeling that the story it creates so fast, and it is not the I mean it happened the way how we used to think. That means we used to think in that the gratification, the way of that gratification, that means that there are two ways of thinking: developing gratification or seeing the danger. Asadānupassī viharati, ādinavānupassī viharati. That means seeing, that means when we feel kind of a pleasurable thing, or likewise, we always want to change. We want to keep it. Like if we feel anger, we want to suddenly change it. Hey, my anger should go. Like this problem should go. Likewise. But
Yes.
instead of that, just just feel the experience. Just be honest to yourself. Yes, I'm going through unpleasant feeling, and that's true. And I do not have authority to change it. Why we do not have authority? This feeling arises due to contact, and this way until this contact is sustaining, this feeling will be with us. So you can simply understand that why we should worry about feeling anger. Think in this way, like, can you be angry in this moment, in this very moment, for something and for no reason? Like, we can't. You can try, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I have thought about that.
Yes, you need to bring a story likewise. So that means that the anger or the feeling is here due to the way of a thought pattern. So that mean that those thought patterns are there due to we don't see the nature and we don't accept the nature. Nature is those are rising, being for sometimes and falling. How this feeling sustain? That sustain the same way, which you can remember I said that if I ask you to forget an apple, what will happen? Apple comes to your mind. So when you try to reject things, that is the reason to that sustain that unpleasant thought pattern.
The harder you try, the longer it takes to... Yeah. Oh. All right.
Go with the flow. And sometimes that it doesn't matter. We try hard for the right result, but we are doing in the wrong way.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Right. Okay, then it's time to wind up. And don't worry. So it will, little by little, you will understand. So you will understand one thing, that when our clarity improves, that the defilements and then the problems and the pains and sufferings are reducing. Sometimes you may already have understood that you can see it if you are being open to yourself and thinking about 20 years back. And likewise, the day you started first practice the teachings of the Buddha, and you may find that yes, of course, you are developing in there. Right. Say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today, we learned the second foundation of the mindfulness, being mindfulness on our feelings. We accumulated many merits, good karma to our lives. Let's share this good karma with divinely powers, if there are any private guardian to you, with them. And all, may they be well and happy, may they protect you, and may they all able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautam Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May this good blessings, good karma, merits goes to all of your past relatives. May they be well, may they be happy, and may they all able to soon experience the supreme bliss of happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May this merits goes to our teacher, Pinat Lokuswaminas, and all the monastic monks. May monks be well and happy. May monks able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's share all these blessings, good karma with all of you, the volunteers. May you all be well, be happy. May your all good wishes come true, and may you all able to cultivate mindfulness more and more, and may you all able to understand the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya Bante. Oh, sorry, Bante. Allow us to ask for forgiveness and share merit with Bante. Can Bante, as promised, Bante guide us along?
Yeah, I will guide.
Yes, Mahamevnawa.
Say after me. Okasa Vandami Bante.
Okasa Vandami Bante.
Maya Katam Punyang Samina Anumoditabbang.
Maya katang punyang samina anumoditabbang.
Samina Katang Punyang
Samina katang punyang
Maihan Databbang.
maihang databbang.
Sadhu Sadhu Anumodami.
Sadhu sadhu anumodami.
Okasa Dwaratayena
Okasa dwaratena
Katang Sabbang
katang sabbang
Achayang Kamata Me Bante.
acayang kamata me bante.
Okasa Kamami Bante.
Okasa kamami bante.
Dutiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante.
Dutiyampi okasa kamami bante.
Tatiyampi Okasa Kamami Bante.
Tatiyampi okasa kamami bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bante, for
Yeah.
all
Now,
this beautiful Dhamma, Bante.
yeah.
That's amen.